The road to the Western Clash continues here at the HGC Europe as we are finishing up week 3. We're in day number 2, and we have big matches coming your way. My name is Trixler. Over to the left, got Caldor here to watch the matches coming your way, and I know he's excited.
Yes, I definitely am. Yesterday was already awesome. Tomorrow we have more great matches coming, but today is probably the most exciting day of the weekend, to be honest with you. We have Fnatic now going up against Tricked in our first match. That already is going to be highly impactful for the standings. And of course, we are going to see Method later on playing as well.
Yeah, Method taking on Zealots later on. Let's go ahead and look at the standings to get a feel for where our teams are. This is why we're starting to talk about the Western Clash already. A lot of our teams are kind of jam-packed in the middle. After yesterday's matches with Team Liquid and Team Dignitas, we're starting to see a little bit of separation. But Fnatic and Method can continue to catch up if they will. So can Tricked Esports, who's been a major contender the last couple weeks.
Yeah, Tricked played some fantastic games. And of course, with Team Liquid losing to Diamond Skin, with Fnatic losing their series to Zealots, all of a sudden everything is up for grabs. If you listen to Dignitas, they say all the time that the one team they are a bit worried about, or that the one team they feel can take the series of them, is Fnatic, if Fnatic has a really good day. But Fnatic already struggled, and that series is yet to come. So Fnatic could suffer a second loss at the hands of Dignitas, so they need to make sure that they don't lose to anybody else if they want to be guaranteed to go to the Western Clash. Because we are already looking at a scenario where every single map win could determine over your fate if you go to the offline event or if you have to stay at home and watch.
Well, before we jump into the Fnatic match, let's check out your entire day of Saturday. What matches can you wait around for? Later on, Method and Zealot will finish the day here in Europe, but North America will begin with Team 12 and Gale Force Esports facing off to end the day completely. It's Tempo Storm and Simplicity.
Yeah, Team 12 going up against Gale Force. Gale Force with another victory yesterday looked a lot better than I expected, I have to admit. Yeah, I was always a bit surprised about the inside Kerosene that we saw. That was a bit...
They have to have one weird thing. Lava Wave one week, Insight Kerosene the next week. I'm feeling it, you know,
it's just a
variety.
weird spot. You see a Genji, you see an ETC on their side, and immediately you jump to the conclusion, okay, this is going to be an Uther pick. And then all of a sudden, I think they had Greymane as well, and all of a sudden it's like, no, we're going Insight Kerosene. And I was just like, wait, what? So... they still won, and they looked much better than the previous week. Team 12 is, of course, the favorite in that series, but I feel it's still going to be an interesting battle, having the two big names going up against each other.
Well, speaking about interesting battles, it's time for Fnatic taking on Tricked Esport. We're going to jump in with our players and see what they think about the match.
So losing to Silos last week was not in our plans, and it's something that messes up a bit with the standings, but for now, it's more of a wake-up call, and yeah, if we're not respecting the other teams enough, and I mean, they have a really good day, we can't lose to anyone at this point going forward. We just have to make sure that these kind of things doesn't happen again, so we try to prepare as much as possible. I think Tricked has always been a bit inconsistent, but this year they seem to have something really good going for them. They seem really motivated, and I mean, they have the best Gul'dan in the world, so like, we have to watch out there. But yeah, jokes aside, like, I think they've stepped up their game big time, so they're a contender for sure, making it top 4, and we just have to respect them and make sure we come well prepared, and hopefully it's enough if we just do our thing.
For the most part, I'm not really scared of Fnatic being angry or like overperforming. I think if anything, that's going to hamper their ability to play well, but we'll see. I'm not sure what to expect from Fnatic. I think they're still an enigma as far as the entire scene is concerned. As far as the point of weakness is concerned, I don't know. I think it's just, I think that team is lacking something, and I can't put my finger on it. I don't really know what it is, but they definitely feel significantly weaker than they did last season.
Rimmer speaks about Fnatic feeling a little bit weaker than they were last season. I think a lot of people would echo those thoughts. Right now, Fnatic is a team that we expect to be a well-oiled machine. We've just seen them dominate so well in 2017. Coming in 2018, it feels like someone put a little transmission fluid in their engine. They're just bumping and hiccuping a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the interview was already pretty interesting. And what I loved was also Quacknick's reference to the best Gul'dan in the world. So in case that you guys didn't catch that, there was an interview with Crosby where he made a statement that he feels he's the best Gul'dan in the world. And of course, there was a person on Fnatic's lineup that immediately started to object to that and was like, wait a second. You're talking about majors? I'm the best mage in the world, no matter which mage it is. Is it Li Ming, Kael'thas, or Gul'dan? So Mene immediately came in. Quacknick's making a bit fun about that exchange. So Gul'dan is probably going to be played today. So Mene will very likely have an opportunity to prove himself to be the better Gul'dan player. But of course, for that, we would also have to see Crosby on the hero. And as we all know, he currently switches that position with Maka as well.
Yeah, I've been playing that Hanzo too, Crosby has. So let's go ahead and hop into game number 1 in the best of 5 series. The Battleground will be Tomb of the Spider Queen. Fnatic with the choice bans for today. Dragonshire and Braxis Holdout will not be played in this series.
Yeah, and so Fnatic brings the series to one of their weaker battlegrounds. They take the map choice, and so far Tomb has been played 3 times by them, but they lost twice on it, and that is one of the maps where they perform. The performance is a little bit shaky. They have other maps where they haven't gotten a single loss. Sky Temple would be an example. Only 1 game and they lost it. But given the amount of games that they had on Tomb, it's still, to me, interesting to see that they go immediately back to it. So apparently they have practiced it and want to be a bit stronger here, want to come out swinging. On the other hand, when we look at the bans, very traditional. Braxis Holdout is being banned once again, in this case by Tricked. This is the 4th time that they ban it, and we have Fnatic banning out Dragonshire every single series.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, it also means that to this point, Braxis has not been played a single time. Not only in HGC Europe, but also including HGC Korea and HGC North America. Braxis Holdout has not been played at all.
More Zerg.
Yeah, most played map right now is Infernal Shrines, actually.
Wow. Well, moving into the series, I will be keeping an eye on one player in particular, and that is Bad Benny. Bad Benny, I feel like, has been in odd situations lately where he's been getting picked off in really rough spots when it comes to Fnatic and the lineup. And it's been forcing them to go into these weird core all-ins that have none of them a few wins for sure. But when you go from someone like Wubby on Fnatic and go over to Bad Benny, you see that there's a bit of a transition issue that's been a little bit hard and rough on him. Getting picked off a lot on that Leoric in the last couple weeks. So I want to see if he's continuing to improve in that role. Obviously, he switched from main tank to play the top laner or side laner. And I just want to go ahead and keep an eye on him and see if he continues to improve week out, week in.
Yeah, for our next game here, it's already cool to have Tomb because this is the one map where the ban pattern of Trick breaks off. Since they ban Abathur on every single map with the exception of Tomb of the Spider Queen, and so this time we're seeing Chromie being banned out. The last time they played here, they banned out Malfurion on the first spot. We see Fnatic respond with a ban on Tracer, who has traditionally been a hero that is getting a lot of play on Tomb as well. So. Yeah. That leaves us with a lot of heroes open that we usually see banned out. Genji again could be played here today. We have also the opportunity to once more see Hanzo. And especially on the matter of Genji, I want to highlight real quickly that Genji, while being banned most of the time, he actually has only been played 8 times in Europe, and he lost 5 out of those 8 games. So Genji currently has a 38% win ratio in Europe. Not really something to write home about. But again, he is very versatile and he can put a lot of pressure on the lanes, on Tomb of the Spider Queen in particular, because of quick rotations thanks to his trade. So that's something where Trick might opt for him, but nope, they go for Hanzo.
Part of the issue too is that Genji never gets Uther on his team with him. There is a chance here though for Fnatic to have the Uther in tandem with the Genji if they want to pick it up here. Being able to take that away from the opponents is wonderful, but also stop Genji from being completely stopped in his tracks. They decided to go Greymane and Malfurion though. Genji not even in the top 3 here for Europe on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
There's another hero that we also have to pay attention to a bit later during the draft, and this is Tyrael. Tyrael, of course, came in this week with a rework. And just to give you guys a bit of an idea how popular Tyrael is at this point. Before this week, before the rework came into play, Tyrael, when looking at the 2 weeks and all 3 regions, had a 36% involvement rate in drafts. After the rework, looking at only yesterday's games, and that again including Korea, North America, and Europe, he was sitting at a 76% involvement rate. So his involvement rate doubled. And this might not be the best Tyrael map, but it's definitely another map where we could see the hero. And Tyrael is definitely one of the heroes that we are going to keep a closer look on just to see if that trend continues throughout the weekend, or if that was just a first day thing where teams were willing to try him out a little bit more and then realize, okay, does he fit in, does he not fit in? Since we all know scrims are one thing, playing in actual HGC environment, in league play, that's a completely different beast.
Tyrael, more popular than a beach ball at a Nickelback concert. Crazy how much he's getting played here. Clicking over to Blaze and Gul'dan. Now, speaking about popularity, Blaze, when it comes to Tricked Esport, It's been played a lot lately by Alex the Pro G, and they bring him back. Only not playing him once, if I remember correctly, yesterday against Team Liquid. Had the Tyrael come out in that 4th game.
Yeah, Tricked is currently in a situation where they have played 6 games with Blaze, more so than any other team that we have in Europe. And they have won out of those 6 games, 4 of them. So it is pretty impressive how they won Tricked Blaze right now. And that again comes back to Alex the Pro G, who loves to go for a hero that he feels is impactful for the team, for the playstyle, and then he just goes all in on the hero until someone figures something out against the hero or until the hero falls off completely. And so far, to be fair, they have shown good games. It's working for them. Yes, they lost the series against Team Liquid. Fair enough, but the games were super close, and he had a big impact with the hero.
There were 2 games where they were in the lead and coming down to 1 throw. That's where they lost the game at Team Liquid, which is a little bit better in the decision-making towards the end. So you can't pin that on Blaze. One more tidbit on Blaze before we move forward. Blaze actually has main tank capabilities, and if you actually head over to JPL's YouTube, he did a little speak-through about what he was going through and his mindset and how to play the hero if you want to learn a little bit and how to play him as a main tank.
So we have also Gul'dan here, and he is still one of the best mages that we have in the game. He excels more so on Infernal Shrines and Tomb of the Spider Queen, since the wave clear, which is hugely important on any map, is even more important on these. And the quick rotations that you can implement on a map like Tomb of the Spider Queen, if you have a lot of wave clear, can really make it difficult for your opponent to control the turning point. So right now, there's still the question who's going to play it. Most likely we're going to see Mako and Gul'dan and Crosby again on Hanzo. But Fnatic is going for a Stitches composition right now with Kel'Thas. So Mena back on the mages. And we have now Hook into Malfurion roots, into Gravity Lapse. So the whole idea is already get a target close and blow it up.
An old Dignitas combo that got really popular last year. Fnatic now pulling it off when they have an old Dignitas player with Mena being there. He is an expert straight up when it comes down to dropping the Gravity Lapse right when the Malfurion comes in and being able to find that target from the hook. One of the best KTs in the business at actually landing that Gravity Lapse follow-up to get that kill. Johanna picked up for Tricked Esport on the 4th draft here. What will be the final pickup here? Gonna need a support. Rhaegar is up and available. Been seeing that pretty often lately.
Yeah, it's highly likely that we're going to see Rhaegar for them. There are other options, but considering that we already have Uther banned out, and in this case Malfurion taken, Lucio not necessarily the best with the composition here. They could have gone for other options, but Rhaegar is definitely the one that stood out, and they're going for him here. So we have the dog back in, and now the question just remaining, how is Fnatic going to shape their bot lane? So far they've really tended to go towards Leoric.
Yeah.
But Leoric, I don't really feel that Leoric on this map had the impact that they were hoping for in the previous games. And to be honest, if you look at Leoric's win rate right now and how well he does, he's not really in a good spot. Leoric has 18 games played in Europe and he lost 11 of those. He's sitting at 39% win ratio. If you compare that to a little bit more of a beefy side laner, as for example Arthur's is sitting at 14-7. So he's currently at 67%, which is way above. But in this case, they're going for a Nuburak. So they have to shape up the bottom lane a little bit differently, but it offers them more aggression.
Yeah, it gives them a little bit more aggression, but also gives them disengage in case they mess up the initial combo of the hook into the Malfurion route and KT getting the kill. Nuburak can peel back with his ability to drop down in the Impale, or if he needs to, drop in a web. So a nice little shoe in there here for Fnatic to make sure that their composition is pretty well rounded.
I really like what they have, because now there's several layers to the composition now. Traditionally, when you play Stitches, one of the big win conditions that you have is you try to isolate a target and you try to kill it immediately. This is where burst damage comes in. That's why Greymane, for example, excels. Oftentimes we see it also with a false stat, because the idea is you hook, gorge, and then you gust the rest of the opponent's team away, kill the target, and then you fight a 5 versus 4. In this particular setup now, they don't have to rely on Gorge. They can actually play with Putrid Bile, so they have a couple of options. And one of the key aspects of this composition is that you are trying to lock a target down. So that's where Malfurion and Kel'Thas come into play with their CCs that they have. But right now, one of the concerns is obviously you have Rhaegar against you. So there is always the chance that an Ancestral just hits in time, and then your opponent can counter engage into you, and that could be a huge problem where the fight turns against you. So now if you have a Nuburak in this composition, you can always combo him off, make sure that he zones Rhaegar out, and if Rhaegar gets too close and is about to drop the Ancestral, you can still use Cocoon.
Yeah.
No Ancestral, target is dead, and again you find yourself in a 5 versus 4, which was the idea in the first place.
Well, on the other side, you still have Tricked Esports with a ton of wave clear. We'll see if it'll be enough for them to stop the hooks from flying and landing and killing their targets. Let's go ahead and hop into it as Tricked Esports takes on Fnatic. Game number 1. The Battleground is Tomb of the Spider Queen, and this is a best-of-5 series.
Fnatic going up against Tricked today. A highly important game match for both of these teams. And to the left, we have Main on Kel'Thas for Fnatic, Quacknix on Greymane, Breeze on Anubarak, Smexy on Malfurion, and Bad Benny on Stitches.
On the right side, in the red, Crosby playing the Gul'dan, Alex Aproji on Blaze, Rimmer on Johanna, Make will play Hanzo, Grandpa Kit, your Rhaegar.
I'm excited for this one. The first map is going to be important in this series. And the most important part for me is that both of these teams are now in a position where they still have very good chances to go to the Western Clash. Fnatic relying heavily on no hooks in this game. They have still engaged potential with Nubarak in particular, but in an ideal universe they would try and get a good hook in and then capitalize with roots, gravity labs, and quick damage through Greymane on a kill. Main, of course, in a spot where he finally has an opportunity again to play Kel'Thas, one of his favorites. He's the one who really coined that hero, and was always trying to bring him back. Tomb of the Spider Queen, one of the better maps for Kel'Thas, thanks to all those small corridors that we have for the AoE damage that the Fire Mage brings out. Really pack a punch.
Speaking of Kel'Thas, look at that level 1, the Mana Addict trying to grab the Regent Globes. This is a PSA. Please stop going Convection right now. Mana Addict is wonderful based on what has happened to Regent Globes in the latest changes. We have a bit of fight here in the middle, a little bit of poke back and forth. I counted this week, Caldor. I had 8 Kel'Thases. Guess how many went Convection?
Knowing Hero League, I would say 0.
I didn't expect that. Well played. All 8 of them. Guess how many finished it? 1. Stop going Convection and get Mana Addict. It's much safer.
I'm trolling, of course. Now, Convection is definitely a very, very high-risk, low-reward talent that, especially in Hero League, for some reason seems to prevail. But whenever you look at pro Heroes of the Storm and at the high-level play, you will see that we have, of course, Mana Addict taken here. So Mana takes advantage of the talent here, and as Tim already alluded to, with the globe changes that came in at the end of last year, in December 2017, now you get the value even faster.
Yeah.
So that is something that Fnatic is currently also trying to capitalize on. We have, for example, on Nubarak, on level 1 Regeneration Master, so all the globe talents in a very good spot here. And Trick is in the early game, trying to put the screws on, pressuring with the camp that they took very early on, which forced Fnatic with 4 heroes into the mid lane to muster up a defense. Didn't lose any structures yet, but Crosby got a bit of an opportunity to start stacking his level 1 quick.
Yes, they are hammering down the wave clear right now. In fact, Stitch is actually on the bottom side helping with the clear where he can, as Blaze is the one controlling that lane. So Trick continues to take a nice lead in pushing, but in terms of gems, Fnatic is hanging in there. 35 to 30, only slightly behind, but should be able to pick it up as he continues to grab the minions that are being pushed in towards him. But this pushing from Trick Esports will eventually net them a lead to where they get a little bit of space, where they can get that turn in.
Yeah, we have, by the way, the entire time Bad Benny at the bot lane. Oh, at this moment, Fnatic with a bit of an engage against Johanna. But yeah, Bad Benny at the bot lane with Stitches, holding the lane here against Alex, and Blaze once again, one of the go-to heroes for Trick Esports right now. As I already said a bit earlier, they have played him 6 times and they won 4 of these 6 games. So for Trick Esports, Blaze is currently sitting at a 67% win ratio, and that pretty much reflects also where he stands in Europe in general. At 62% win ratio with 13 games played overall. So Blaze definitely has found his spot on the solo lane in Europe.
Yeah, his ability to just win the trade on any lane has just been devastating for a majority of matchups.
Yeah, one of the matchups where he has a bit of a rougher time is against Sonya. But the interesting part is that we see less and less Sonya being played. So he finds himself a great spot. And in this moment, Remaballer barely gets out using Iron Skin as the cooldown comes in. Benny missing the hook. He's hoping, of course, for Grandpa Keta to try and juke down to the bottom, which didn't happen. And Alex, in the meantime, is just setting the bot lane afire and forcing Bad Benny to react to it.
Yeah, Bad Benny actually has a really hard time defending this. Yes, you can go into W build and it gives you decent wave clear, but nowhere near the match of what Blaze will have. The good news for Stitches, though, is that at least he has to stay with his own Devour.
Yeah, and he doesn't lose the lane too hard. If you look at the structures, it's not like the towers are on half HP or anything like it. At least not at the bot lane. In the mid lane, thanks to the earlier push, they indeed are. But so far, Stitches is actually doing better on the lane than I expected. And as you said, a lot of it comes down to Devour as a sustain tool.
Yep, just able to relax. What a world we live in now, where Blaze and Stitches is currently our 1v1 in the bottom lane. You'd love to watch it change and adapt.
Okay, I'm also not quite sure if that's going to be...
No, this is the meta.
A stable... Okay, this is meta now. And this is a kill, potentially. Crosby goes down. On Gul'dan, by the way, Quacknix is moving out. So we talked a bit earlier about Crosby's statement that he feels he is the best Gul'dan in the world, a statement that was highly contested by Mene immediately. And in this case, actually, we see Make on Hanzo. So normally it's the other way around. We have seen Crosby a lot on Hanzo, and we have seen Make and Crosby both share Gul'dan depending on the situation. In this particular setup, we're now seeing Crosby back on the mage. So pretty cool to see that there's an overlap in hero pool on Trick Esports side. Some would say it isn't ideal, but it always offers you more flexibility when you head into a draft. So it can be a huge strength for a team if it doesn't go too far.
Yeah, and what I am a little bit worried here for Fnatic is when we get towards that level 10 and we have the Condemn into a Jet Propulsion into a Horrify. Huge AoE, very capable of blowing up targets. And right now we're seeing a target get blown up right now with Maki taking some damage, unable to escape. Gravitas tried to give him a heal, but Fnatic is finding some kills here. That's 2 now to 0.
Yeah. Breeze with a love bug, a little bit of a love tap against Hanzo, and he goes down.
Best
very
kind
well
of taps,
done here,
honestly.
Of course. Yeah, so gets a kill in. 2 kills for them right now, doing a decent job with that, and Fnatic definitely starting to take a slight lead here, since they now also are in a position where they can get their own web weaver wave, and they do exactly that. So well played by Fnatic to this point. And let's see how much they can get out of the web weavers.
Based on how comps line, I kind of expect Fnatic to be able to get a couple of kills in the early game. That's where they take their lead. Trick should be able to defend the push, though, from the web weavers with their wave clear that they have between Blaze, Johanna, and Gul'dan. We'll see if Fnatic can open up the wall a little bit much so. They want to get 10 here and follow up into a second turn-in when possible, or at least move in for a fort. So here we go. Night Camp's grabbed in the middle. Trick Esports will allow that to defend for now while they turn their attention towards the top.
And keep in mind that Fnatic has the tools of aggression with the Nuburak. Nuburak is one of their most successful heroes. They have an 80% win ratio on the Nuburak, and it got so dangerous to other teams at some point that we have seen several times now in Best of 5 series a Nuburak even banned out against Fnatic, because other teams showed respect and said, hey, whenever you play this hyper-aggressive playstyle with him being the main engage tool, you are so much more dangerous, so we need to try and take that away from you. And Fnatic is showcasing that here again. They have level 10, and they immediately move down to the bot lane, trick this force back. Very cool move by Alex, by the way, to immediately give up the fort and say, okay, if I stay here, I'm gonna fall. I have no chance of defending this as long as we don't have 10. So Fnatic gets a lot out of the first turn-in.
Yes, they do. A wise move for them to get that 10 before their opponents, grabbing the fort, and they can immediately set up for another turn-in. Trick is aware of this as they start to group up slightly. Only Hanzo hanging behind here, which he can afford to do thanks to the Dragon's Arrow. Alex Saproji comes down and starts grabbing the Giant, realizing that KT is on the top side, which will allow for Trick to open up the map a little bit.
Also, we have the heroic abilities in, and especially with Greymane, we always talk about go for the throat versus Cursed Bullet. And usually as a rule of thumb, if you're targeting the front line, you want to go for Cursed Bullet. If you're targeting backline heroes, you are going for go for the throat, especially if there's a lot of squishies on the opponent's team that you're trying to take down.
Yeah.
In this case, though, you highly depend on Stitches getting hooks and then blowing the target up. So the idea here is with Cursed Bullet, after the hook lands, to open up with Cursed Bullet and Lockdown and then immediately jump on the target. So when you want that blow-up potential, Cursed Bullet definitely the one to go for.
Yep. You delete 35% of their current health, so just immediate follow-up from the rest of your teammates should be that other 65% to come in. Trick Esports now gets their turn in. They've opened up the map slightly. Bottom side is pushed in, though, so Fnatic will have an easier time defending if they can focus on their mid and top lane.
Yeah, they still wait at this point for a bit of a hook. And as also mentioned, we don't have Gorge, we have Putrid Bile. It's just very advantageous to have that as a tool here, especially if you don't bank on Gorge Gust combinations with Falstad in this case. It's a bit of a different style that they want to play around the hooks. And Putrid Bile gives them more fight potential in these situations. So once again, defense already happening here in the mid lane, down to the bottom of the map. Stitches is doing the same job, but Trick has started to move a bit more aggressively towards the top, where only Kel'Thas is currently attempting to defend the fort.
Can they get this fort here? It's down to half health. We do have Trick having Blaze in the top side, and he's working on the fort up there, but KT's there for defense. Mana Addict just finishes up too, so KT can be a bit more aggressive now that he has a shield. And all said and done, Fnatic defends well.
Then Trick is going to try and probably turn in again, but let's see if they can do that. Here comes the bunker. Okay, they're trying to get the roots in. Very well played with Malfuri in here. Cocoon is already out. They go for Alex. Rema in the back. Alex low. Ancestral hits, and here comes the Horrify. A defensive one, though. Not able to be aggressive with it. That Benny can now start on his own turn in. Fnatic pushes Tricked back and is close to 13. This is a perfect opportunity for them to turn in and push with the talent advantage.
I just learned something there, Caldor. Alex Aproji on Blaze just showcased what Blaze can do when he's rooted. If he has a bunker next to him, he can actually overlap the root that comes in, jump into the bunker, and get out to stop that duration. Doesn't matter though, as he gets picked off, losing health. Oh my gosh, he's still alive. Finally falls.
Yeah, Malfuri with a great job here, using the deep root talent on level 7 to completely block off the escape path of Alex, and that's the kill against Blaze. The 13 is here, still Fnatic with the attempt to turn in. They need to be careful since there are also enough gems on the side of Tricked, so they immediately move to the top turn-in spot and make sure that they're not getting it. Bad Penny already with the attempt to get another hook in, but Remaballer already anticipating it and moving to the left before he goes back to safety.
Yeah, Trick being a little bit careful here, being in a 5-4 scenario is difficult already against the Stitches composition. See, disengage, stay near minions to make sure they don't get hooked in. Fnatic getting the turn in though. Will be able to start moving in. They have Stitches already in the bottom, cleaving out, and that will go towards the keep wall.
But even with the missed hook, you saw immediately that Smexy put down the roots, and that's something that you always have to do. If you're playing with the Stitches and you're a support player, you're Malfurion, you don't want to wait until the hook connects with the target. Once the hook starts flying, your roots need to be on the ground, so in case a target is hit, it gets locked into place. So Smexy with perfect follow-up here, and eventually Bad Benny is going to have that perfect hook, and then the follow-up should be there. Right now, on the other hand, once again, we're having a bit of action here at the bot lane. Horrify being used once again, but without anything happening here. Remaballer gets the Ancestral as the bunker is once again on the ground. Guapnik's already low, and we also see Smexy about to fall. He barely gets out here as Alex is chasing them. Bad Benny with a Putrid File covering the retreat as he moves out and repositions himself for another potential hook.
Quite a splash of damage there from Gul'dan, almost getting those kills. The issue, though, is that they didn't get a kill, and now Fnatic has their bottom and top side pushing in with these web weavers. The keep wall is broken and busted. Top wall lives for now, but Tricked Esport did take a bit of damage there.
Great rotation by Fnatic into the middle now, though. They didn't take the fort down, but once that they saw Tricked reacting to the web weaver push at the bot lane, they immediately collapsed onto the mid fort and dropped a lot of the hit points. Once they realized, okay, Tricked has now completely killed off every single unit at the bot lane and is probably starting to make their way over, they simply backed off. But that was a nice amount of extra damage they could put onto the fort.
We do have heroics up again soon for Tricked, and they also have a turn-in. They have almost 2 turn-ins available. Knowing this, they have Rimmer positioned in a spot to force a fight. There it is. Alex Aproji goes in, Condemn coming out. Also the Busted Shield are going straight from Malfurion with an arrow following up. Unable to get the kill, but they jump in the bunker to stay safe.
Arrow hitting 2 here, and Phoenix comes out by Mena, trying to delay the turn-in for a bit longer. With the fort still around, Fnatic hit tap at the fountain, and that's exactly what they did, and immediately pushing forward once again. Now we have the mid lane still pushing in thanks to the camp, but keep in mind that Fnatic is closing in 16. Remaballer wants the turn-in, and he gets it. Crosby as well. That was important for Trick. If they don't get it here, they might actually lose out completely, but the death of Hanzo is putting a bit of a dent into the plans of Tricked Esports. They're on the escape again as Remaballer is getting low. Quacknix wants to go in, and here comes the Ancestral. Thrown out by Rhaegar in the nick of time. Grand Paquette once more with the save.
Still, Hanzo falling there. A mistake from Tricked Esports.
Oh!
Is it going to be easy to go with? And now Spartan gets hooked. He jumps into a bunker. Can he get out? He jumps back in. More armor popping in. Grand Paquette has the heals, able to survive for now. But still, the web weavers in the fight makes it a little bit more difficult for Fnatic to continue chasing.
And can I just say that Alex absolutely knows how to play that hero? He is doing so well. He's adapting so much also with his heroic ability to the map and to the opponent's composition, switching between combustion and the bunker. And it's really difficult to take him down or just in general to put pressure onto him. So Alex with a huge impact in these games, and it really showcases why they are so fixated on playing with Blaze on the offlane. It works well for them.
Yeah, especially when you're considering that he's playing around the cooldowns of his Rhaegar too. He got the shields in from the level 13 on the Rhaegar, and then between his jump-ins in the bunker and the heal. Cocoon comes out for Breeze. Root also following
Hanzo.
up. Hanzo. Hooked and dead.
Han who? Dead immediately. Hooked and go down. Alex also in trouble. Jet Propulsion gets him out of there, but Remaballer, he's in trouble. Even with the Iron Skin that he uses, that's an issue. And we see Crosby trying to save him somehow with a quick Horrify, but that was already too little, too late. At this point, it's a quick boss call for Fnatic. They're now in a 5 versus 4 situation, and a Talent up, an easy call for them. And Nubarak, in the meantime, already working on a turn-in himself, trying to make sure that there's also no turn-in from Tricked Esports. The double kill here, great position for them.
That was the hook into the Hanzo kill. Bad Biddy with the Future Bile able to connect on the backside, making sure that no one can peel away. Alex the Pro-G is able to jump potion out, but Rimmer taking some damage too. Bad Biddy is trying to do his best here to block, but with the Breeze fall up into a Burrow Charge, that's going to be a kill, and this is a boss for Fnatic.
And potentially a turn-in, and the Horrify just didn't do anything for them. Grand Paquette rooted into the ground, and Rhaegar is down. The dog is dead, as we see Bad Benny trying to move in to take down the rest of the team. The bunker is out, but at least Maka should fall here. Cocoon is being used by Breeze as they are attempting to lock down Blaze, and this is looking grim for Alex the Pro-G.
Yes, it is. Breeze body blocking him, impale into a stun, allowing Quinix to go in. And I gotta say, putting Bad Benny on a main tank, whether it be the Stitches here as an offlaner, really paying off for Fnatic. They're getting their engages they want, and the hooks are landing.
Yeah, Breeze is also putting on a clinic with the Nubarak here. All of them play so much better than what we've seen last week. Question, of course, is that if they can keep this up throughout the series. For now, they're looking fantastic. 9 kills against 0. 2.5 levels ahead, and they are able to drop the fort at the bot lane.
And they have a turn in too. Tricked Esport may have one more fight in them here before they have to deal with Keeps taking more damage on that top side. It is exposed and vulnerable. Will they try to force this fight? They have the Dragon's Arrow. They'll have up Blaze in a few seconds, but Fnatic has some time here to drop off some gems.
Yeah, Fnatic has an easy time to drop gems off and then try to go towards level 20. They currently still hold enough at Benny with the turn-in attempt. Actually cancels it for a second here. Trying to, I assume, give Min a little bit more time on the night camp before he completes the turn-in.
There it is.
Or was he interrupted?
I think he was just starting it. The night camp, so he's able to get in there.
Yeah.
All right, 19.25 in experience. Mercenary camps in the middle. Big wave coming in for Fnatic, and Bad Benny opens up a fight on Rimmer.
Yeah, and already Bad Benny with the Future Bile. And Rimmer is isolated at this point. He needs to be really careful. Rhaegar as well, by the way, at the bottom. Quacknix was already chasing him away. And now Tricked is just on the run everywhere. Cocoon again being used. And Tricked has such a bad position here. The silence comes in. Perfect follow-up by Malfurion with the Twilight Beam. Crosby trying to keep himself alive, but Benny slows him down. Breeze is already on the task. Question is, can he complete it? Cleanse comes out. Grand Paquette is doing everything he can to keep him alive. Even dropping the Ancestral right now, but Quacknix still wants him. And Gul'dan goes down. Baller on the run once more as we see Fnatic moving towards the core, attempting to end game number 1.
Okay, just having a hard time on that Hanzo here. 50% of the deaths for his team so far with a total of 5. Rimmer's trying to do his best here to get the Giants aggro away from the core so he can buy time for his teammates. With Hanzo up in 10 seconds, he'll have a Dragon's Arrow to start the fight, but I worry that it won't be enough as Fnatic charges forward and starts hitting the core.
Fnatic is going for it, and this is looking good. They take game number 1. They drop the core, and with 11 kills, 12 kills to 0, Fnatic takes the first game.
Fnatic looking more clean than we've seen in the last couple of weeks. Can they continue this through this best-of-5 series? We'll have to see, but today, looking good. I really do enjoy that Stitches for Bad Benny. It's more of a natural role for him. He's played it a lot for Expert in the past, and him on the side being able to go in the W build really fit Fnatic here, and also give him the chance to make a few plays.
Yeah, I still wouldn't overvalue one game.
Yeah,
so
totally.
It's one map. It looked strong, but Fnatic had some problems where on one map they looked fantastic. On the next one, when the draft didn't perfectly fit them, they were in a bit of a rough spot. But I absolutely agree with you that the composition that they were running really catered towards their playstyle. So that looked really good for them. They had options to sit back, wait for the hook. Then they also had the engage potential that we saw with Nubarak, where Breeze was going into these fights. So definitely a lot of these aspects where that can work out for them. Tricked struggled, especially you were mentioning Hanzo. Really, really tough times here for him to stay alive throughout the game, and that was a bit of a liability here. We saw Grand Paquette trying to save everyone the entire time, but even with the pressure against Baller on Johanna, oftentimes we saw the Ancestral used in that case, and then you didn't have it anymore for the backline. So game number 1, fantastic series or fantastic game by Fnatic. Question is, of course, can they keep it up throughout the best of 5?
Yeah, Mage gonna have to clean it up a little bit there. A couple of them were hooks, you know, you can kind of forgive those, but a few of them was him actually just diving forward into a fight, being a couple steps ahead of his teammates. You know, gotta be near that Crosby, being able to set up for that horror fight if he needs it. So hopefully going to game number 2, he'll clean up just a smidgen. Let's go ahead and talk about Twitter, because you guys are always talking about these matches, and we love to see it. Our first one of the day from Balrothmer? How do you say that? Balrathamir.
Balrathamir?
Yeah, let's go with that. I really don't know who to cheer for, Fnatic or Get Tricked, #HGC.
Both?
Yeah, cheer for him, man.
Just for good heroes, all that he need.
These tweets are short and sweet.
Tricked, no treat.
Get tricked, no treat. You gotta wait till October, man. Halloween for that one. Keep it around.
I like it, though. I really like it.
We'll forget about it by then, so you can bring it back so you can get kudos from us.
Seems like such an obvious joke, but I haven't seen it yet. I probably missed it last year. I don't know. Did it come up around Halloween?
I mean, it probably did somewhere.
But it's a good one.
It's
like,
a good one.
I like it.
It's a good one. All right, guys. Well, the tweets continue to come in. Continue to hit us up at Heroes Esports. And use the #HGC. At the bottom, too, we also drop a lot of those tweets in as well. We love watching you guys talk about the games because we love talking about them. So, get ready for game number 2, Tricked Esport. The thing that I was missing from them is yesterday.